Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video. So today I'm sharing with you a longer video than I would normally. This is one of the pages I created a while ago in the craft journal, as you can see, and it's one that involves making cutouts. So I have cut out a piece off both sides of the middle page, the middle part of a signature, and I'm just making them a little bit smaller than they are. I was just cutting a few millimeters off one of the sides, and then I'm going to use this adhesive packing tape, so when you wet it, it becomes sticky. I like this in the craft journal because it's a similar colour to the craft pages, so it's not quite identical, but it's close enough. It works quite well, particularly if you are trying to alter the pages. That when by the time you've got your journaling, your paint and your stuff over the top of it, it kind of disappears quite well. So, and then what I'm doing, you might think this is really weird, is I'm sticking these pieces back in. I wanted these to be able to fold over really easily, which is why I've cut them in rather than just scoring the page and folding it over. So using this tape, you can see I'm sticking it on, and then I am going to leave like a little gap just to allow that to bend and fold over. This does become quite well stuck once it's dry, and then you see those will fold in to the centre signature again there. So then I'm just sticking some tape on the back as well, just to make sure it's nice and strong. And then these bits that have been cut out that will fold in, that's where I'm going to do the cutout part on this page. Okay, so once that bit was nice and dry, and then using the Things That Grow stencil, and I'm using this really lovely leaf shape from here, like a botanical leaf, and I'm drawing it onto the part that folds in to the centre. I'm making sure that the stencil, oh, I can't speak, that the stencil touches the top and outside edge of the page as well. And then using my craft knife and the little cutting mat, which is a Dylusions cutting mat, underneath, I'm just taking my time nice and slowly and cutting out these pieces. So I'm just turning the book each time just to kind of make it a little bit easier to get my knife into the right place. And it really just is about taking your time. I know there are those of you that watch these cutout pages and you sometimes comment and say, I couldn't do this. I genuinely believe you could. I think you just have to take your time, take it nice and slowly. Start off with something fairly simple, cutting out, and it's just practice, like with anything, I suppose. Okay, so once that outside edge was cut out, I then had to work out how I was going to make this next part work. And this was where I realised that I needed that to be joined on to something. Otherwise, if I cut out completely, obviously it's just going to fall out, isn't it? So what I'm doing is just making some of these leaves a little bit bigger, and then I am going to stop at the top point of the leaf. So I'm cutting out this top part here, and then you see that I'm doing a line that goes down the edge of where those leaves join on this left hand side, where they reach that left hand edge. And I'm just going to be doing a line down so that you can see the shape of the leaves, but it still remains joined. So really it's only attached by the points of the leaves on the left hand side. So where the points of the leaves are attached, that is actually where it folds. And so these two pieces with these botanical shapes on are going to be folding in and over the centre of the page. So next I'm using Peacock and just adding some paint to these cut out elements. So once I've done that and they were both dry, I'm then using the same paint, and I'm going to be using that as my kind of glue to stick these pieces of collage paper into the centre page. This is a really great way to get both colour and some interest into your background. It works just like glue once it's dry, so it's a really great technique for getting the collage paper stuck into place. It works particularly well with Dina Wakley's collage paper because it's lovely thin consistency. I've not tried it with other collage paper, but I can't really see why it wouldn't work, because the acrylic paint can be almost like glue once it's dry. Yeah, so then I am using turquoise, and I'm just brushing a bit of that on over the top of the peacock. I'm not too worried about the fact that some of that collage paper is completely disappearing. It is just about building up those layers. And you notice I've now got no craft, pretty much no craft showing through. I just get overexcited. Next, I'm using a little bit of white paint and just brushing that on too. So I'm just adding lots of different tones and shades onto this middle page. And then I'm going back in with some more collage paper and adding some more pieces over the top, but not too many, just a few little pieces. And they get stuck in place using some of Dina Wakley's ultra thick gel medium. It was kind of what was handy. There was no other reason for me using that. So obviously I am drying these layers in between, showing you all these different processes, but you don't really want to be sitting watching me wafting a heating tool around. I don't think it's really necessary, but yeah, I do dry my layers before I add things in, and I'm not very patient, which is why I use a drying tool. So then this is one of Dina's stencils, and I'm going in here using the turquoise paint again. So now I'm just building up a bit more interest in those background layers, and here I've used a little bit of quinacridone rose light, and it's just mixed with a little bit of the turquoise that was on the blending tool, and it's made a really pretty, almost like lilac-y pink. And then I'm using my favourite pink. You'll be so fed up of hearing me say about this one. It's the Permanent Red Light from Amsterdam Acrylic, and I am just adding some bits of that in too. I really like how this background works. It came together really nicely. I think the colours complement each other. They work really well together. So then from the same stencil, I'm just using these lovely dots on there and just adding some white in there as well as a bit of a contrast with what else is going on. Okay, so once that's dry, then I'm using a piece of plain collage tissue paper from Dina Wakley Media and using this stamp. This, I think it is one of my favourite face stamps that Dina's done. I really like this one. And so I've cut that out, and that's going to be stuck down using, again, the gel medium. Making sure I've stuck it down really well. One of the lovely things about that collage tissue paper is it does kind of disappear. It just sort of melts into the page. And here I am using some white paint, and I'm just starting to work on adding a little bit of interest and contrast on these cut out elements here. So I think my brush was quite dry, and I'm just dry brushing on a bit of colour and then just smudging it with my finger, just to kind of bring a bit more interest really. And then I'm going to start adding in some dots using some Posca pens. So I think this one is a turquoise one. I can see the lid in my left hand there. So yeah, this is a turquoise pen, and I also go in with white, and I've also outlined those cut out leaf shapes that are on the right and left of the page. Then this is a quote from the Dina Wakley ledger papers, and this is getting stuck down. I'm just using a glue stick to stick this in place. And then here I'm just outlining those quotes using my black gel pen. And that's it, that's the finished page. So lots of fun with the cutout element using the stencil. So thanks for watching. If you've stuck with it, well done. It was a long one today. And I hope to see you again soon.